I don't only do print on demand and graphic design. One of my big hobbies is I actually flip a lot of toys and comic books and other stuff on eBay. So in this video, I'm going to show you the technique I use specifically for flipping action figures. It's fun, it's profitable, and it reminds me of my youth, and I'm an old man, so I like living through nostalgia. So let's jump in and have some fun on eBay. Okay, so the first question is, why do you care about this? And I think it's a valid question. If you're interested in making money, especially on a side hustle, I think eBay represents one of the easiest ways to jump in and actually make real money. And what I mean by that is maybe between 10, 20, 30, sometimes $50, even more for an action figure flip. So it's one of the world's largest marketplaces, and it is free to list. Now, when you first start out on eBay, you're going to get 10 free listings. But if you get up to above standard or top seller status, you'd often get promotional deals and 50 a month, 100 a month, sometimes even 100,000 free listings a month. I've never used anywhere close to that, but I might have a couple hundred listings up at any one time. There's about 10% in fees, maybe closer to 12% in fees. You can get paid directly from eBay, so you don't have to go the PayPal route because that used to suck up an extra 3%. So I just get eBay to pay me directly. It's called eBay Managed Payments. So you might be asking yourself, why flip action figures specifically? Especially if you're like a middle-aged woman or man, you might be thinking like, why bother? Well, there's three big areas that I'm going to get into in this video. The first reason that I like flipping action figures is that there's really good price points for them. Typically, if you go to the store and you look up an action figure just sitting in the store, like on the shelf, they're anywhere between $10 all the way up to about maybe $50 or $60, and you can sell them online on eBay for upwards of $200, and they don't need to be in pristine condition in your attic from 1960. We're talking new action figures that you can flip, and I'll get into why in just a minute here. The other reason that I like action figures is they're lightweight and they're relatively easy to ship because they're robust. They're in a package, and yes, the package you obviously have to pack with proper bubble wrap and or packaging materials, but they're not as fragile as, say, a comic book or a glass or porcelain, that sort of thing. You've got just a blister pack, which is what the action figure comes in, and then you've got a plastic action figure, which is great. The reason why I personally like flipping action figures is because the distribution for action figures is imperfect. And what I mean by that is there are certain areas of the world that are really hurting for these action figures, and there's other areas of the world where they're drowning in the action figures. If there's too many. So for example, the United States may receive a large shipment of some action figures, and if you have access to a Target or a Walmart or a Best Buy, GameStop, wherever your store is, you can ship them to other parts of the world where they're really, would like to get the action figure, but they simply can't buy them in the brick and mortar store. So this really represents an opportunity, because if the world could equally distribute these action figures and there was perfect distribution, there'd be no secondary market for action figures. However, I'm a big believer that you're providing value on eBay by selling something to someone in another country that can't otherwise get it, and therefore there's an opportunity there to make some money. Now here's just my eBay store here. I've just to show you, because I know sometimes people say, I know how the internet works. People will say, well, you say you're making 10,000 in sales. So this is just a quick example. This is my sales here in the last 31 days. I've got $683.98 in the last 30 days. And so, or 31 days. And in the last 90 days, I've made over $1,000. So I only show this to show you, like, when I say it's $10,000 in sales, at the time of this recording, I'm in the middle of summer in the middle of a pandemic. So, I mean, when Christmas rolls around, I easily sell $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in the Christmas season. And I'm not bragging about it. It's just, I just wanted to show you this to say, like, $10,000 is not an outrageous amount to sell on eBay, especially if you're selling things for $150 or $200 for a sale. So there's really three main opportunities here, and I'm going to provide some real life examples in eBay in real time with you here. But let's jump through the first opportunity. The first opportunity is just going in to a store like a Walmart, a Target. If you're in Mexico, it'd be a Mega. You could go in there and buy action figures off the shelf. I was actually in vacation in Mexico a couple of years ago, and I was walking through this store called Mega, which is kind of like a Walmart or a Target. It's like a grocery store. And I went into the toy section and I found some, what in Canada is very rare, but in Mexico was very plentiful. So I came home with 2 shopping bags full of action figures, and I stuffed them into my suitcase, and I brought them home to Canada, and I wound up selling them on eBay and made a tidy little sum because you couldn't find them in Canada. Basically, this is, buying an action figure off the shelf and then holding them for maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years, and basically waiting for the distribution to leave the store, and then you sell them months or years down the line. So the idea is you can't find the toy anymore, and that's why it's worth money. So when we think of flipping action figures for money, we picture us going up into the attic, pulling apart our old toy chest, and going through, in this case, 1977 Star Wars Kenner action figures. You can see here, this is just a standard Luke Skywalker, and he's sitting here for $189. Now I'm in Canada, so I mean, in United States money, it'd be like, $160, $150. But you can see here an old, farm boy Luke Skywalker figure is going for this much. Now, this is what it's being listed for. If you'd like to see what things actually sell for, you just scroll on down on eBay and you go into right down here near the bottom. It says show only sold items. And what will happen is that will now show you in green what's actually being sold. So you can see here an old beat up R2-D2 is $15.19 Canadian. I'm just going to click on this one here. Often it will be sold in US money, and you'll see here it's $12 US. And so that's pretty, poor condition. So if you have old vintage toys sitting in your attic or in your basement somewhere, maybe you need to go drive over to your mom or your grandma's house and say, hey, it's time to get rid of old crappy R2-D2 and make a couple dollars on eBay. This isn't really what I'm discussing in this video, but I just wanted to show you this because you may be wondering, what about those old ones? They're not in very good condition. Doesn't really matter if they're in high demand. Here's an example of something that's not very old. So this is 2006. This is a Target exclusive. So somebody would have bought this at Target. You can see there the little sticker says only at Target. And it would have been maybe $30, $40, maybe even $50 US. It's a box, as you can see here. And it says Imperial Shuttle. And as you can see, it's not in the greatest condition in the world. And this sold for $465 US dollars. So the reason I mention this is just if you're thinking, well, what if do I need to go back and build a time machine to go back to the 1970s? No, you could go into Target today, and anything that says only at Target, you could research it. And again, it's speculation. So I'm not saying you're guaranteed to make a ton of money, but you could buy something like this and you could wind up 5, 6, maybe even 12 years down the road, selling it for a considerable sum of money. Here's another example that's relatively recent. I was actually down in Target a couple years ago and I noticed this. So I'm from Canada. We don't have Target stores in Canada. So I went down to the United States and I found these things called the Star Wars Black Series Credit Collection. I'm just going to pop this one open. And the reason they're called the Credit Collection is because the actual figures come with a little coin. You can see right above Cara Dune's head there, there's a little gray rectangle, and that's a credit, like an imperial credit, like a coin. And so you can buy these action figures and you can, they come with these credits. So anyway, bottom line is Mandalorian's probably going to be around for a while. And since it goes into the public consciousness, it winds up being relatively high demand. Star Wars stuff often will sell. So this Mandalorian was selling for, I think, $20 US back in, Target. There was one at GameStop, and then Amazon selling them as well. So you sometimes will get these relatively rare in some countries and not available in other countries, and sometimes very there's a plethora of them in the country that you're in. So if you happen to live in the States, for example, I would encourage you to go onto eBay and look up some stuff that you may think, well, geez, everybody has it. And you'd be surprised. France, for example, will sometimes pay really high amounts to get things shipped to them. You can see here Australia's buying stuff, and US, France. It can go all over the world because they simply don't have access to some of these items. This is actually the figure that I found when I was in Mexico. This is Marvel Titan Hero Series Doctor Doom. It's a 12-inch action figure, and they were selling in Mexico for about $14 Canadian. And as you can see here, they're selling anywhere from 25 opened to, this is a great deal here, 32, but you can see here this one's $88. So as I scroll on down, you can see there's different values for these because some people are listing them for less, some people list them for more. And what I would recommend is, take a look average them out. And if you happen to go to your local store and you see something like this, you can't just buy any Marvel Titan. You'd have to buy a very specific one. So this Doctor Doom was very hard to find. And as you can see here, it sold on August 30th for $88.53. That's about 5 or 6 times what this person probably would have paid for it. Opportunity number 2 is buying limited edition action figures. So this can be risky because if you don't really know what you're looking for, you can wind up spending a lot of money on these websites like Mattel and Hasbro for memberships, and then you're buying shipping and import fees. So you do need to do your research. However, you can make some great money doing this. Basically, you buy a limited edition action figure and then you sell on eBay for a profit. So let me show you a couple examples of this. This is probably the most lucrative short-term strategy because you can literally turn it and make hundreds of dollars in any one month. So there's a collectors club that Mattel runs, and Mattel is an action figure company, and it's called Mattel Creations. You can find it on creations.mattel.com. I'm just going to run through a couple examples here. So this is one that's come out. These are designed for collectors. These aren't really like toys to be played with. They're more for display, and they're really expensive. So here's one that says Darker Shades of Evil. There's a series of toys that Mattel came out with in the 1980s called Masters of the Universe. So when I click Shop Now, this is going to pop open, and we're going to see there's 3 really large, these are actually 2 feet tall, Skeletor, which is the villain in Masters of the Universe. So this has come out, and these are sold out. These were about $300 US here. And so I'm just going to click on the buy now, and it'll say it's sold out. So here's the Shogun Masters Skeletor Golden Havoc Edition, and you can pre-order this one, but there's other ones that are sold out. There was 3 different types that were offered, I believe. Anyway, so I would just click this pre-order button. It would be a limit of 3. It would ship on November the 8th. So this is just an example. When I go on to eBay, I can see that these are starting to sell for upwards of $300 to $400 US. So I'm just in eBay now, and I'm just scrolling through the sold listings. You can see there's a regular Skeletor. There's the all black Skeletor, which is the rarest of them. And then the Shogun Skeletor, the one that I just looked up, isn't here yet because it's still available for pre-sale. However, oh, here's one. Shogun Skeletor new sealed. So somebody got an advanced copy, it looks like. So these will probably trend up over time because they're very limited edition. And when they're sold out forever. So collectors have this thing called FOMO. And look, I'm guilty of it too. So no judgment. It's fear of missing out. And so I want to make sure that I get these as well. So when I go into shop, I can go into MOTU collectors, which is Masters of the Universe. There's also Matchbox collectors, Monster High. There's some Barbie stuff on here. There's some really cool stuff. I'm just going to pop open the MOTU collector. This just came out the other day. This is a black, Masters of the Universe action figure called Sunman, and he's sold out right away. It says here sold out. And this is another one, which is Triclops. So I'm going to click on this one. I actually bought this one. So I dragged myself out of bed early in the morning to get this pre-sale. And this was $17. There's a limit of 5 per user. So I bought 5. There's $17. And we can see here when I go on eBay, they're starting to sell for upwards of $125. That's about $100 US. I'm just going to click this one here. We can just see it'll pop up, probably with a US price on it. Yeah, $98.99. You can see this person sold all 5. They haven't even shipped yet. So I guess that's the part where I'm kind of going, wow, this is really neat. From a profitability standpoint, this will ship sometime in November, probably. I haven't received mine yet. In fact, it says it has not shipped. So this person's listed this now on eBay, and they have listed it, and now it's already sold for much, much more than what this person paid. Probably the one that got me drooling the most. I'm just going to go back to the MOTU collectors and scroll on down. There's another villain here. His name's Faker. I'm just going to go into the, I'm going to see this one here. It says Power Cons exclusives are coming. I'm going to click Learn More. And there's this blue guy here. His name's Faker. And he is on this really cool looking Battle Cat. So this was selling and it was sold out. So I'm going to click Learn More. And we can see here it's $60 US. It's sold out. Comes in this awesome box. And it's so cool. Anyway, limit of 2 per customer, $60. Well, when you go on eBay, what do you think this is selling for? Is it over $60? You bet. It's closer to $200 and something US. So this is the pre-order, $285 this sold for, and this was an auction. So this is truly market rate. And as you can see, this person's just hasn't even received it yet. It's a pre-order. So what'll happen is this person's selling it on eBay. When they receive it from Mattel, they're just going to turn it around and ship it to the person who won this auction. It can be pretty lucrative to buy these limited editions, and then they offer up to 5 or 2 or 3, and then you can sell them online for much more than what you paid for it. I wanted to point out a potential pitfall that you can run into if you are a little too quick with the reselling of this. So I'm on Mattel Creations, and I've just typed into the little search bar Barbie, and we can see here there's a signature Barbie that's actually a Darth Vader Barbie, and there's a whole bunch. There's really cool ones. There's a soccer one, and there's like all over the world Barbies. This one's pretty neat. This is a Ken doll from like Mexico kind of thing. And I want to point out like the Stormtrooper Barbie. This is one that's inspired by Star Wars. So it comes in a Star Wars box, and it's got Star Wars. And then there's another one here that's Darth Vader Barbie. Again, it comes with a stand. These are designed for collectors, right? So this Darth Vader one is $100 US, okay? Now I could buy this today on Mattel Creations. I could add it to the cart, and I could get it shipped to my house. So what some people do, unfortunately, is they'll buy this, and then they'll immediately flip it on eBay, but they're only going to get upwards of $100 because there's no incentive to buy it on eBay since Mattel ships all over the world. So here we can see on eBay, if I type in Darth Vader Barbie, we can see this one here sold for $94.92. And you can see there's not a whole lot of other ones selling for much more than that. This one's $126, which is about $100 US. So there's really no incentive to pay more than this until this is sold out. So I just want to point that out, that if it's limited edition, that's where you would buy it. Once it sells out, that's where you can then relist onto eBay, because now it enters the secondary market. You don't want to go too early into that secondary market because you won't get anything else than what Mattel's offering, because you could just buy it directly from Mattel. The third opportunity for buying action figures for profit is buying action figures with bad distribution. So these aren't necessarily limited edition. They could just be sitting in a store, but certain parts of the world don't have access to them. And then you just sell them on eBay for profit. So again, I would encourage you, if you're already an expert in this, that you would want to maybe join a Facebook group, or you would join some sort of online community, because the internet's full of people complaining. So for example, I do this with Masters of the Universe figures. I've joined Masters of the Universe figures online, and what they do is they complain nonstop about not being able to get action figures. So here's just an example of what I would look through. So I'm on heman.org, which is the Masters of the Universe thing. And here's a person complaining that they are, extremely difficult to find. And by the way, no judgment, they are difficult to find. So this is a legitimate complaint, by the way. So I'm just reading through this, and there's, people going, hey, I want to buy these. And here's one person that says Origins has been a nightmare here in Toronto. So this person is identifying that there's a lack of supply in Toronto. And then as I scroll through, people will say, oh, I live in this city and I don't have anything. I live in this city and I don't have anything. Mattel has said that the US is the lowest selling country for Masters of the Universe. So what will happen is certain areas of the world will get lots in stock, and other areas of the world will get very little in stock. So here's an example of where the distribution was a little bit screwy. I'm on a site here called BigBadToyStore.com, and they're one of the United States' leading online toy retailers. And as I scroll down, I'm looking for a very specific figure. His name is Trapjaw. And as we can see here right at the bottom, it says Masters of the Universe Origins Trapjaw by Mattel, $19.99, and it's sold out. He's one of my favorite figures from my youth. And so I actually had so many of these last year leading up to Christmas that I wound up taking some back to Walmart. And boy, am I ever red-faced about that. I probably bought 40 or 50 of these things leading up to Christmas because there were so many in my local Walmart stores. Now when I look online, of course, this is going for much more than that. It's $34.99. And sometimes I've saw them even going up. So this is 44 Canadian. I was buying them for say 15 Canadian, and I was selling them for about 45 Canadian. So I was making about $25 a figure. And if you sell, 50 of those figures, it's about $1,000 in profit. Not a bad little haul over the holidays. And again, I know sometimes people will say, scalping is, unethical. I want to point out, nobody in the United States seemed to be able to get these figures. And because of the pandemic, nobody could drive up to where I live in Canada and get the figures. So to me, I was providing a service by selling these at a profit because my time is worth something. And I'm not forcing anyone. I didn't, stick a gun in anybody's face and say, hey, you have to buy this action figure. I'm not selling, food to a hungry nation. I'm selling an action figure to somebody who wants it. So as a collector, if somebody's willing to part with their money and they value it, I'm more than happy to provide that. So here's just an example. I am kicking myself. I wish I had saved those trap jaws that I took back to the Walmart, but I did sell about 50 of them, and I'm pretty happy with that. So if you're not sure where to start, I would suggest going to a site like Big Bad Toy Store and just have a look through. Just click on this best sellers and you'll see a whole bunch come up. You can also click on the brands here at the top. There's more brands as well. And just have some fun with it. I do want to point out, I think it's important for you to become an expert in the toys that you want to flip. Kind of like, a realtor understands properties. There's lots of different ideas online as well. There's this thing here called Hasbro Pulse. And so you can flip through Hasbro Pulse and you can find stuff like this. There's some really, really expensive stuff. Okay. So I don't, get too, worked out of shape. If you see, like, for example, on Lego, you can buy the Roman Colosseum for $650. Now there's exclusives that Lego offers. There's exclusives that Hasbro and Mattel offers. Disney castles are popular. Harry Potter is popular. So have a look through if you're interested in this sort of thing. And remember, go onto eBay and look through the sold listings to give yourself an idea. Another really popular brand is Funko. There's all sorts of different things that you can check out, and you can either relive your childhood or you can just have some fun collecting items. And it is a bit risky, but it's also really a neat feeling too when you make a sale on eBay and you make a few dollars and help pay for the gas in the car or the Slurpee in the tummy. All right, so I hope you guys found that helpful. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please do leave a comment or a question if you're not sure about something. Feel free to click the like button if you found this helpful, and consider subscribing so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for watching.